All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Nerdify podcast. You've got your host, Regie.
And James.
And we have a little bit of a different kind of setup today. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But I think for now, we're just going to kind of give you... Oh, so we don't have sodas, to just say that right off the fact. Off the bat. That's a fact, off the bat. We ran out and
plus, it's past our time for eating because we're on that intermittent diet.
Yeah, so we don't want to...
Yeah, so we're going to not have a soda this time. That's all right. It'll be back.
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll survive, whoever is listening. Anyway, so...
both of you.
None of you. Okay, so I guess we'll give an update maybe about the program, how it's going.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So I upped all my weights. Well, not all of them. I upped most of the weights, and then if I didn't up the weight, I upped the rep count. Mm-hmm. And I'm not as sore as I'd like to be. I don't know if that's just because my body's getting used to the workout or if it's because I'm not pushing as hard as I could. Right. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully it works. I don't know.
So that's the progress, huh? That's what you got.
That's what I got. Food's still the same.
Yeah, food's still the same.
I mean, I just keep eating the same thing.
Right. Well, I've upped it a little bit. Most of my exercises I'm up to 12 reps a piece on, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Except for the super easy ones, like the air squats and the step-ups, I'm doing all 20 of that just because I can.
Right.
Push-ups, I'm still on just 10 because I'm still kind of struggling with it. But I feel like the last time I was really dedicated to push-ups, I was like 50 pounds lighter already. So, I mean, it was easier for the push-ups to happen.
Yeah, I just realized, I guess the hard thing for you is that, like, I can physically up my weights because I have barbells and dumbbells and everything, but you have body weight, and you're going to be actually, but you're going to be losing that weight.
Right, yeah, so they're getting, I'm working like in reverse of what you're doing.
But, I mean, technically you're starting with more weight than I am, because you're starting with all 170 pounds, where I'm just starting with like 40.
It just proves that I hate myself more than you hate yourself.
Yeah, true, that's true.
Yeah.
No, but that's what the whole pumping up the reps thing is supposed to help do, is counteract that.
Also, this week, I've only been able to do the workout 3 times. I'm trying to stay within the 3 to 5, doing 5 if I can.
3?
3, yeah.
I did 5. I even did one before I came and picked you up.
Good for you. I was stuck at a restaurant waiting for you to come pick me up. So I could just drop down on the floor and start doing push-ups.
You could have.
I guess I could have.
Just ask to go into the office and, you can fine.
But in all seriousness, it made me realize why they suggest 3 to 5. Honestly, I should have started out with 3 times a week, because I did them a day apart. So like that really helped me get all. It didn't hurt as much basically, and I felt like I'm more accomplished doing them all.
Oh yeah, it gives your muscles a lot of time to rest. I mean, that's
one of the reasons I did circuits instead of all 3 sets at the same time and move on to the next exercise. So, I mean, that helped, and then this helps even more. I mean, I feel like next week I'm definitely going to get all 5 in, because I don't really have much planned as far as I know.
Yeah, something I definitely would kind of wonder is if, this is like a all-in-one kind of workout where it does everything at once. And so I wonder if it's more beneficial to just do 3 times a week and space it every other day, or, as opposed to something where if you did the traditional kind of workout where you do like back and biceps and chest and triceps and then legs and abs, you can do those every single day and just keep switching off and do it 5 times a week, because you're working at different muscle groups, whereas this workout you're working at the same exact muscle groups every single day. So I don't know if it would be more beneficial.
It definitely works out my arms and legs the most. Like my core, like there's like 2, like the burpees and then the planks, I can really feel in my core. Yeah. But like every other exercise either does my arms and my legs, or just one or the other.
I've noticed that.
And they're more in like the burpees are actually getting a lot easier, which I like that. And so are the planks. So they're almost nothing now to do. I can honestly probably do 15 of the burpees and not just do the 12. But I'm trying to keep them both like all the sort of level if I can.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe we'll just have to get fat again and figure out if the 3 versus 5 week. I don't know.
It's just kind of cool watching the progression of how this is working, because like the first week, the hardest part, or no, the first week I saw the biggest change in how the diet affected me. Not so much like it's supposed to like make me lose weight, but like my hunger suppression. Because like by the third day, I was totally fine waiting till 2 to eat. Like the first 2 days, I felt like I was an asshole. Like I need to eat. I'm used to eating 2 hours ago. I need food now. And I was just writing tickets at work left and right. You get a ticket. You get a ticket. I normally just look over, but no, not this time, because I was not happy.
Yeah,
with
I think that's a good thing, is that it kind of helps with appetite control, like these kinds of diets, and so even if like someone does it only for like a month and then they come off of it, the hope is that even if they go back to eating not so good foods, that they would just want to eat less because they would have less of an appetite. I
can see that. I don't have much of an appetite. At night. I mean, I try to make myself eat because I'm supposed to.
Right.
But it's definitely suppressing my appetite. And the second week, I'm feeling a lot more change in like the workout, like being able to complete everything in a timely manner, and not having to resort to like knee push-ups on like the last few of the last set was really like an accomplishment to me, because I was like, I have to finish this set, but Jesus, my arms hurt so bad. I can't do it. So I have forced to go on the knees and do the knee push-ups.
I kind of agree with that, because like the first week it definitely felt like finishing sets was death. But now it like feels really good to just like push out that last one that you need,
even though you're so tired, you're like, yes.
Yeah, and it's funny because like, of course, like the about 20 minutes or so after my workout, I'm exhausted. But then after that, I just get like a spike in energy, and I feel good, and that's what's nice about it.
I'll be really energized right after, and then like an hour later, I'm just like, I gotta go to sleep. I don't.
Yeah, it's definitely making me tired a lot sooner, which is good because I need more sleep anyway. So we mentioned earlier that we had something a little bit different today, and we actually have a guest with us.
Yeah, first guest on the podcast.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
So this is Elizabeth.
Hi.
And she's going to be talking to us today about SCA. I don't know what that stands for, but it's something to do with medieval shit.
So that's what it stands for.
That's the rundown. That's like the compressed thing I gave you is medieval shit. It's like get it wrong.
I mean, James and I are pretty nerdy, but we don't do everything. We don't know everything. So it's nice to have people every once in a while on to kind of explain those niche kind of hobbies.
Yeah.
So nerdy. We just want to be more nerdy. We gotta expand the nerdiness.
Well, that's why I'm here. I am your nerd guru in a way for historical bullshit. So
fantastic.
Elizabeth, tell us what SCA is.
Well, the SCA stands for Society for Creative Anachronism, and anachronism is defined as something taken out of its time and place. It's not necessarily LARPing, because we're not doing fantasy-based stuff. It's more based off of actual historical documents.
40% less lightning bolts.
Yes.
Actually, I was telling a couple of friends about having you on, and they were just like, medieval reenactment, is that just like LARPing? And I was like, no. It's like LARPing's like fantasy type shit, and it's like for personal game. Whereas like, I mean, I guess you could consider SCA stuff to be like personal game, but it's also more of like a historical type deal. Like, this is the same thing with like Civil War reenactments,
Right, and it's just slightly different from Civil War reenactments in that, well, first off, it's not based on the Civil War, but we're not reenacting a specific event, but we more act as if we were someone in that time.
Right.
And you could be from anywhere, like events, you'll see people dressed in Celtic and Japanese in the same event.
That's kind of cool.
So you just pick something and you run with it.
Do they ever get into fights like two warring ant colonies that meet? Like...
Actually, yeah.
Oh man.
So is that different from like a Renaissance fair?
It is. Again, the Renaissance fair is based more on fantasy, and you don't particularly get to participate.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Right,
and it's more centrally focused towards like specifically medieval Europe, right?
Right.
Or I guess it's more of like what people think Renaissance is about. They want to give people what they want, not what it actually was.
Right. So they didn't eat giant turkey legs.
which is a shame because I was about to ask you if you liked it.
How often, I just kind of curious about this, how often do people show up expecting something close to like Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
More often than I think
Really?
I hear about, right? And I mean, like I was saying, with the Renaissance Fair, you're just kind of there to experience the Renaissance Fair itself.
Right.
You participate at SCA events. You're part of the experience.
Whether you like it or not.
Right.
You just walk in like, you're in. What? Oh, God.
Yeah, you're one of us. One of us.
Do you know any of like the history about this, or kind of how it started, or?
So it started as a backyard birthday party in Berkeley, California.
Of course
Whoa,
it
Isn't
did.
that awesome?
Of course it did.
The humblest of starts. That's
It was some college students out at Berkeley. Somebody, I think it was like their 20-something birthday. I don't know.
Probably 20. We'll say it's 21st. If
Right.
we're wrong, then who cares?
Because I look so good right now. But they dressed up in medieval-ish type outfits, and they had like a tournament in the backyard, like fighting each other.
Uh-huh.
And then
So basically, you got drunk, and they were like, "Guys, let's reenact medieval times."
yes,
Remember
pretty
going
much.
there? It was awesome. Got some sticks, dude. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Well, that's pretty much how it got its start, and it just kind of grew from there. Like, they decided, oh, we really like this, so
Right.
let's do it again.
Right.
And it just kept going, and, you know, it's grown from Berkeley, California to it's all over the world now.
So, kind of give us a breakdown of like, I guess maybe what it is that you like. So I guess my first question is, how long do these typically take? Like, I would imagine Renaissance fairs are like a 1 day or affair, and that's it. I mean, is this more something close to like a con or an event where it's going to be like over a weekend, or?
It depends. So, as you're saying, Renaissance Fair, that's usually a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Our longest events, I believe, are 2 weeks long.
Mm-hmm.
And normal events, like the ones that you'll get nearby, like the ones that will happen in this town, are more like a day or a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you travel up, and, you know, you can camp. Sometimes you can stay in a cabin, and then you just wake up and do the thing, you know?
So is there a dress code?
As medieval as you can. We don't judge. There's like a...
burlap sack.
There's a... Well, I mean, you could if you were, like, way back at the early times, but...
Or a peasant. That's all I can afford. I stole it.
I have.
We have, like, a 10-foot rule, so if it looks pretty good from 10 feet away, well, you know, no one's gonna say
I
anything.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's that kind of a cool rule.
I'm just like, it looks to me, though, if you're like 10 feet away and you squint really hard.
Yeah,
It's
if
like,
you
yeah.
Sir,
tilt
you're
your
11
head...
feet, step 1 foot forward. Nope, I see your Nikes. I see
So
them.
do you just like stone people who walk in with like a
No.
t-shirt and jeans? Like,
No,
okay.
if they walk in and they're curious, well, usually one of us will pick up on it, like, hey, they're walking on the set, they're walking in to the site, so, you know, one of us will grab them and be like, hey, let me show you around, and hey, you want to stick around? Here, we've got extra clothes, here's a tunic and a pair of pants, you know?
I don't want to interrupt, but speaking of like stoning, I read something interesting the other day that, like, during a stoning, it probably isn't medieval time. I think it's more Middle Eastern style stoning.
Don't interrupt my segment.
Sorry. Continuing my interruption. They would they put a sack over your entire body and like bury men from the waist down and women from the shoulders down for the stoning. And after the stoning starts, if either of them manage to wriggle out of the hole, they're free. Free of all the charges.
Man,
I
then
believe
women
that's
get
Middle East.
fucked. They get the shoulders down. They,
The
That's
women
the
are the
thing,
big
yeah.
disadvantage.
yeah, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Well, I mean, it is,
Well, they're
like,
judged a lot
medieval
more
time,
harshly
so.
than men. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's, I mean, it's kind of fucked up. But I mean, I thought it was kind of cool that, like, if they said if you can get out, forgive everything. You
Go
could
by.
murder 17 people, but if you get out, cool.
Man, if I knew I was gonna like possibly get caught for something, that's all I would do. Like every week, just like
Just practice
dig a
wriggling.
hole. Yeah, man.
What are you doing, Frank? Planning a bank heist. I gotta figure out. I'm gonna get caught, so I might as well go ahead and figure out how to get out of it.
Like, wedge rocks in there so you can just, like, climb your way out.
Like, aren't you gonna arrest him? No, that's Roy. He's wriggled out of every single hole we put him in. I mean, we
why?
even punched him like a woman. Really, all the way down to the shoulders. Yeah, he's still wriggled out of that damn thing. I just don't get it.
Sorry for interrupting. Back to the segment. I just read read that and I thought it was cool that we brought up stoning, so I wanted to say it. So, yeah.
So you go to the ones around here, right? And like, how big are these around here? Because I mean, we're in Arkansas, and so like everything is on a small scale. I mean, the one actual like music festival that we had, Riverfest, got canceled after like 40 years. It's gone forever. And I mean, we don't get shit around here.
I'm
like,
just saying.
If a big artist comes through here,
I miss it.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious about how big these events are.
So for your smaller day events, you'll have typically around 50 people.
Right.
And then there's an event that goes on around here. It's actually going to be in Hot Springs this year at Camp Couchdale. It's called Diamond Wars. And I think...
Is it Minecraft related?
It is not.
Okay. All you 8-year-olds out there, it is not Minecraft related. Stay away.
I just ruined it for you.
Do not show up thinking otherwise.
But I think that's typically a couple hundred people.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's really big.
What is, like, what do you have to do to... Can anyone just show up and just be a part of it? Or you have to have, like, special training, a class?
No, there's no classes. Really, to be able to be there, if you actually want to like be at the event and not just like get a tour real quick and then go home, we have site fees because we're a not-for-profit organization. We're educational.
You need to change that.
But there's a site fee. You pay the site fee, and you can stay for however long the event is, and that pays usually for food and a place to stay. And,
okay,
because we feast, man. We like to eat.
Yeah, okay, so it's basically everyone splitting the pot if you're going to be a part of it. Like
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay,
and then, they usually budget in, like, for future things. So
a little bit aside for the next.
Little side. But that goes in, a bank account.
So do y'all like a king and a
We
and
do.
A council? Really?
Not a castle, but we have a king.
No, council.
A council?
Yeah, like you got the king and his Knights of the Round Table and shit,
We have knights. We have officers in the SCA.
Oh, really?
So we've got the...
So there's a structure. It's not just a bunch of people showing up and we're like, okay, people, medievalness starts now. Okay.
Forsooth and verily.
So if you're an officer, typically you hold it for 2 years. You are a deputy for about, I think, a year. And then...
It's a commitment.
It is. It's a commitment.
Nice.
It's like another full-time job.
It's really cool.
But we're volunteer-based, so, nobody gets forced to do it. But you have what we call the seneschal, which is like the president of the local area, and then the exchequer, which is the reeve, and the historian, that's like a secretary, and so we have a hierarchy. We gave it different names, and then on the other side of that we have the royal hierarchy. So you've got your king and queen, and then your prince and princess.
You got dukes and countesses.
We do.
Ooh.
So if you've been,
they don't play around.
We don't. We've been doing this for like 50 years.
This is
now,
legit, people.
They read a book.
Super legit.
They listen in class.
Dr. Seuss.
So how it works is we fight in a crown list. So we've got participants that dress up in armor and we hit each other with sticks. It's a lot of fun. We go have beer after, and then
as kings are wont to do.
But when you win that crown list, you become the prince and princess for about 6 months, and you become king and queen for about 6 months.
Whoa. So you do rotate out. There's nobody who can just hold power and just be like, I am the best.
And even then, like, when you're king, you can't participate in that crown list, so you can't be prince again until after you've stepped down, and then you have to wait for the next crown list to come around.
If only it was like all politics were actually like that, and just
right?
Like, yeah, you get to be in Congress for like 6 months, and then you get the fuck out
and get you out of this office, right?
Oh, you know how nice that would be? Like, what's up, Mitch McConnell? Oh, yeah, okay, you're gone. I mean, he's 60. What is he gonna do?
Right?
Break.
So after you've been king and queen once, you become count and countess, and then after if you've done it 2 or more times, you become a duke and a duchess. So.
And do those titles like stick around for a lot longer, like permanently? Like,
that's a permanent title.
Forever, just the duke.
Yeah.
I am the duke.
Some of my dad's best friends, they're Duke Sir Kane Redfeather and Duchess Alyssa the Night Watcher.
That
totally
is
cool.
Amazing.
I've known them my entire lives. They're the most amazing people ever. But they hold that title forever. After they've stepped down for the second time and they get awarded that title, that's forever.
So remember, kids, if you can't get a doctorate, you can be a duke.
Hell yeah.
So you kind of mentioned there's, I guess, a tournament that happens. How exactly? Like, can you explain that a little bit more? How exactly do you determine who becomes knights and prince and princesses and?
So I'll start out with the tournament. So to be in the tournament, you send in a letter of intent, which is just saying, hey, I want to fight in Crown List.
Right.
This is the person that I'm fighting for. You have to, have somebody that you're fighting for, always. Because you've got to have a king and a queen. Or a fighter and consort, because a queen can win her own right.
Okay, how legit are these letters have to be? Is like handwritten, or can it be typed up?
You can email it, yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh
Okay.
man, it should be required that they're on like parchment and written with quill. Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
If I ever did this, I would do that just to be more authentic. I mean, seriously, I'd go all the way.
All right. Yeah.
And then I believe that the tournament is 16 couples. And it doesn't have to be like your boyfriend or girlfriend. You can pick somebody that would politically be really good beside you. So then they fight in, like a basketball tournament. You pair them off.
Brackets, basically.
Yeah, brackets. And then...
March Madness.
Yeah.
Except for Medieval Madness.
Medieval. I like
and then, you just kind of go through the brackets. And then it's whoever is in the finals, it's 2 out of 3. So... as you're going through, you can die twice, and then you're out forever.
3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah, for that one. And then when you get up to the finals, it's whoever wins the best 2 out of 3 out of that pairing becomes the next prince and princess. So, and it's a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance to it. We'll have tents set up,
right?
Pavilions set up around the fighting tournament. And you'll have, it's a process on the field just for fighting.
Yeah.
And then a process of, like, a lot of circumstance off the field, because you'll have the ladies or gentlemen that have set up arrays of food and, try to bring over people and schmooze with them and make connections and stuff like that. So it's very
also
political.
It's whatever happens in the tournament, but it sounds like there's that political element where you've got to, like, kind of get the right people on your side to maybe vote you in or something. Like, if there's
there's no voting. It's whoever wins the fighting, but you do want to make sure that people kind of
if you
won't
get
be
that
against
position
you the
of
whole
power,
time.
So I guess a good thing
yeah.
is if you watch the tournament, you go, that guy was really fucking good. I'm gonna schmooze him so he'll be my partner next year. Is that kind of nice?
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of schmoozing. I like that word, schmooze.
Schmooze.
It's a good word.
And then...
Why'd you write that down, right? Schmooze. I'm going to use it
Make
later.
a note of that.
I'm going to use it later.
I gotcha.
Alright, and then as far as, like, knights, that's actually awarded to you. So you may not get that from fighting, like, once or twice. You could go a few years. It's bringing yourself up to a level that somebody really looks at you and goes, that's somebody that I look up to.
Some of that would be, like, exemplary of kind of the values of the event itself, right? Somebody that really are just like, okay, they're really into it, they really respect this, they know what they're doing, like, they are awesome because they 100% participate.
Yeah, that's something that the Knights really aim for. They want to look into some sort of art or science. They want to, be that person that when somebody asks for help, they're like, hey, I'll go help you. And they want to be somebody that's really, really good on the fighting field. So you kind of want this perfect trifecta of just chivalrousness, I guess, if that's a word.
Can you fight dragons?
Chivalrosity is the word, I
There's
believe.
no dragons.
Dang it.
That's the fantasy part.
Dragons are real. Right next to unicorns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're even on Dr. Pepper.
Dragons, so
they're on Dr.
There you
Pepper
go.
cans, so clearly they've
So,
got to be real.
so did you ever fight cars then? I mean,
No, we don't get the cards.
try it. It's fun.
Well, I mean,
Played Street Fighter. They fought cars.
right.
Bonus rounds.
Bonus round. But we don't just have knights. We have, it's a peerage. It's several different sects. So you've got your masters of arts and sciences. We call them laurels. They're represented by the laurel leaves, like the 2 olive branches.
Right.
And then you've got your pelicans, which are your service, and the symbol that we kind of use for them is a pelican plucking from her own breast to feed her babies, because they give so much of themselves that they put the entirety of their being into events when they participate. And then we have light fighting, which is like rapier, fencing.
Right.
So
I didn't.
Rapier, not raper.
Rapier.
No.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
No, like fencing. We call it rapier.
This is a family-friendly event, I promise.
I explaining that rapier, not raper.
I'm sorry, I'm Southern. I
Not
can't help it.
rapier. Okay, so now we're on the same page
Yes.
here.
So it's like fencing, and then we call that Masters of Defense, which I thought was just a funny play on words. Masters of Defense.
yeah,
Of the fence.
Yeah.
The fence.
Fencing.
Fencing.
Took me a minute.
I think that's all we have right now. But, you know, we do some other stuff.
Right.
At events.
So what other, like, I guess, just what other activities do y'all have going on there?
Well, let's see. We talked about heavy fighting, which is how we describe how the knights fight.
Right.
And then we've got fencing / rapier.
Let's stick with fencing.
Rapier.
We've got live weapons, which is like archery and throwing knives and axes and stuff like that.
I was about to ask about archery. That's cool.
So there
Oh,
are
yeah.
lumberjacks there too.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
P-much, right?
Okay, in all honesty, like, I went into this going like, medieval stuff, this will be kind of like a Renaissance fair, it'll be whatever. But no, this shit is sounding so fucking dope. Like, it sounds so
Y'all.
cool, like, super legit.
We have equestrian, horseback riding, and they do stuff with them, like going through obstacles and stuff like that. It's really cool to watch.
Obstacle horse?
Right.
Obstacle horse.
Technical term for it.
to the obstacle horse.
The course of obstacles.
Horses.
And then at some of the bigger events, you'll have like hound coursing,
Hound
What's hound coursing? Yeah.
like running dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hound and coursing and everything I've
I was
had
like,
put together before.
just put a dog the wrong direction until its furs are up or something? Like,
Coarse fur. Only dogs with coarse fur allowed.
Let's
is that a
see.
Pomeranian? Get the shit out of here.
They're
Soft
fluffy.
as shit.
We've got arts and science competitions. Some stuff
Art
like that.
and science competition?
Yeah, like
They had scientists back then.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah,
well,
come on.
like the science
I
of
mean-
soap making and sewing and stuff like that.
Oh, so do you also have, like, classes and stuff to
Yeah.
teach that kind of stuff, too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
We have people that have been in.
What didn't
for a
you
while.
understand about learning experience? It's educational, Reggie.
It's very.
They teach you
educational.
everything.
The whole thing is
I don't
learning
know.
experience. It's awesome.
Okay, so is there a difference, like, let's say a family just shows up because they've heard about it, and is there, like, specific of stuff that for them to do?
At some events, we have like children's activities.
Right.
So you can, if you want to go look at some other stuff, usually we allow for you to leave them with a designated adult that's called the Minister of Children. So they watch over the kids. Kids do like coloring and stuff like that, and you get to go walk off.
No children's, like, night fights? Man.
Well, we do have Boffer, which is like little kid fighting.
Yes!
Can you place bets?
No.
Can you do it if you don't tell anybody?
No comment.
I'll take that as a yes.
Take it as a yes, it's totally a yes. You people need to check this out. Betting on fighting children, hell
I'm not
yeah.
saying that like behind the fence we just like, place bets and stuff.
Chicken fights are illegal. Children fights,
Totally legal.
totally legit. It's
Totally.
fine.
Don't worry, they're willing. They're not forced.
And it's like
Yeah.
foam weapons, so it's not like it's gonna hurt them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of same stuff you'd see at, like, churches and
Right, and we have pretty high standards for our armor, so
When are you going to a stabby church?
what church are you going to?
fun church.
Stabby
Gotta
church.
fight your way in.
We don't talk about Fight Club or Fight Church.
Fight church.
We don't talk about fight church.
Stab your friend for Jesus.
If Jesus was stabbed, so can you.
Live the life.
Yeah, you get crucifixed every Sunday. Oh god, I'm going to hell. Okay, so
but we try to cover up things like your kidneys and the back of your neck, where I think it's like your third and fourth vertebrae meet.
right,
Right
Safety
where your
first.
shoulder blades meet your neck. Right.
no paralyzation happening.
Exactly. We don't want you to die. We want you to be able to sit down and eat and
We want
have a
you to
beer
come
with
back.
us. Right.
We don't want to get sued because we don't
I want you
have
to be
any
able to leave
Oh,
and then come back.
no.
Yeah. And so, you kind of mentioned that there are like larger events and smaller events. Is there, so like the smaller events, they're just going to be like you said, over a weekend, right? And then,
So your small events can be like a day event
right.
where you just show up in the morning. After dinner, you can go ahead and leave. Weekend events sometimes can be smaller. Like I mentioned Diamond Wars earlier, that's kind of a bigger event. That's over 4 days.
Right.
We have
So what's the longest event that we have like here locally?
define local.
The state of Arkansas.
Would probably be Diamond Wars. Another event that I consider local because it's within our kingdom is Gulf
Ooh.
Wars.
Like
Yeah.
literally, is the United States split up into different kingdoms?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Oh my god! I'm okay. I'm like freaking out at how like, this shit is.
We'll get into that. We'll get
Okay.
into that.
Yeah, we will.
So is that, how big is our kingdom? I mean, just Arkansas doesn't. I'm like
You're
pumping up my
eating now
chest and
our kingdom.
It's Louisiana, Mississippi, Memphis, and all of Arkansas except for Fayetteville.
Oh,
Wow.
God. Of course, Fayetteville's just like, fuck you guys. We're not doing with
Well,
that.
the Ozarks, it's kind of harder for them to drive through that. They go up to the
Well, they
kingdom.
aren't committed enough.
They go up to a different kingdom.
And they betray.
Missouri.
Man, I was hoping we would get like Texas in our backyard. No, we got fucking like Mississippi and Louisiana, like garbage states. Just,
Listen.
I'm sorry if you live there, but you have to admit it is.
But we
garbage.
have a week-long event down in Lumberton, Mississippi, just south of Hattiesburg.
Right.
It's called Gulf Wars, and it's the war with no enemies. And you have like Texas and Florida and like the Georgia, Alabama, that area. They all have different names for these kingdoms. Like everybody comes in and we just fight against each other. And like I said, we just hang out for a
That's
week
cool.
in camp.
So what is
It's
our
awesome.
kingdom name?
I was about to ask.
Yes.
That. I was excited to know.
So our
Please
kingdom
don't
name
be lame. Please don't be
is the Kingdom of Glenavon.
Okay,
Which
it's acceptable.
It's Celtic for the river valley,
Okay, that's even okay. That's legit. That's,
which is like the Mississippi area,
yeah, Mississippi.
right?
That totally makes sense.
And then like you were talking about Texas, that's on Stiora. It's got a star, For the symbol.
Lone Star,
right?
Yeah, okay,
And
that makes
that's
sense.
Way to be
Texas
original,
and
Texas.
Oklahoma.
Good job. Way to spread, spread your wings a little bit.
Texas, the one-trick pony.
And every kingdom has kind of, like our original kingdom, like I talked about, being from Berkeley, that kingdom is called the Kingdom of the West. It's our original. And then the Kingdom of the East split off from that, and then you had the Middle Kingdom.
Can these territories change? Like, can you fight over territory? Because if,
Take some over.
So our wars are technically over territory.
but there's no, is there never any like
Not really.
permanent? Dang.
It's
come
usually
on.
That
it's
would've
usually
been
over
so-
like a square foot of land.
Oh.
It's
I'll
silly
fight that
stuff.
battle later.
What'd you say, Florida? Huh? What? Yeah.
This is my square foot of land.
Well, that's where we get I think it's Texas and Meridies, which I think it was really funny that your daughter's name was like really close to that.
Meridian, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, when you first said that, I was like, oh my god, what was that name? But they fight over literally like a square inch of land.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
It's worth it sometimes.
Totes
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
So the Gulf Wars, you said it was a week long?
Mm-hmm.
What is the longest event in the entirety of the United States?
So in the United States,
It's got to be in Berkeley, right? 'Cause that's where it started.
Nope.
Really? That's
no,
weak
and there's
sauce.
actually a
Weak
really
sauce.
funny story behind it, but we'll get to that in a second. The longest event and biggest event in America is called Penzic. It's 2 weeks long. It's up in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. And
Okay.
there's like 10,000 people there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
That's a lot of
It's
people.
like econ level.
If you look,
Yeah.
if you look at the aerial view, because they fly like a low-flying drifter plane over and take pictures, it's just this sea of like white tents,
Oh,
and it's
God.
absolutely amazing.
Like the
Does,
scene
like, it
in Harry
looks-
Potter with like the Quidditch.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
cool.
exactly what it looks like.
Are they
Yeah.
big on the inside? I was like, oh, yeah, no magic. That's right. It's
There's
just
no
it's
magic.
real stuff. Okay.
Right. There's no
Medieval,
fantasy.
not magic.
Right.
Medieval.
Medieval, not mid-magic.
Not mid-magic.
Mid-magic.
Not midwives. Not mid-magic. Medieval.
Medieval. Okay. Now I'm straight. I got it.
All right.
It's cool.
All right. And I'm probably gonna get this wrong. This is but Penzix started.
Take note. Listen, everyone. Make sure.
Everyone pays close attention.
This is the gospel right
I
here.
want my friends to correct me when they hear this because I'm probably gonna get it wrong. But Penzix started because a king, I believe in the East Kingdom, which at this time is like the New York, New England area,
Right.
sent a declaration of war to, I believe it's the Middle Kingdom.
That's so cool. That
Just like a, hey, let's have a war.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, dude, what you doing? Oh, no, you want to have a war, man?
And it got ignored.
Oh,
And when he stepped down from king, he moved to the Middle Kingdom because of work and became king there and accepted his own
because
declaration.
of quote-unquote work.
That is so cool.
He accepted his own declaration of war, so he declared war on himself, essentially.
That's
I
amazing.
love that. Oh my god.
Oh, I hope to God that is the actual true
Like
story.
he's going through
I
paperwork
may
in the new
have
office.
the sequence of kingdoms wrong, but that's
Either
the story.
way, it's so fucking cool.
I imagine
Yeah.
like he goes into his new king office doing old papers and he finds his like, what the hell? A war? Fuck me. I'll go to war with me.
Damn this asshole from this kingdom.
I hate me so much right now.
He totally planned all that shit. Yeah, I know he did. He didn't get a response, and he was like, "I'm gonna move there. Hey, can I transfer to the one over and wherever?" And be like, "Yeah, sure, okay."
Well, he had to fight again to become king, so he was king twice.
This is like
He knew what he was
this is
doing.
like HBO level storytelling shit, you know?
Yeah.
He was like, I know what papers in there, my declaration of war, I'm gonna get it.
And they're on, I think, like 45th year this year, I think, but it's been around for over 40 years.
Oh, wow,
This one particular event.
that's
so.
crazy.
Yeah. And I've been once, and my dad's been a couple of times. And it's grown a lot. I think when he went, when I was really, really little, there was like 4,000 or 5,000 people there. But that's like where Gulf Wars is now. It's like 5,000 people.
I can imagine just with that number of people, like you just really get immersed in it because I'm sure the area has to be so large.
It's amazing.
You just-
Yeah.
You walk in and after a few hours, you just like kind of forget
Yeah.
where you are.
Oh, when I set up my tent when I get to Gulf Wars, because I try to go every year, I set up my tent, I go in, I immediately change, and then like come out and I'm like, oh, I'm home. And then
My people.
So I don't know if we've asked you, how long have you been doing this? I mean, you kind of hinted at with your parents being in it, I imagine, since you were born. But
exactly, since
Wow.
I've been born, so 25 years. So I've seen.
So
I've
you were
seen
just
some
like,
shit.
this is totally normal. And I was just like, what the fuck is this?
I don't think that I could live without it in my life at this point because it's always been there in my life, and I love bringing new people into it because it's like I want to show you this magical experience that I get from being here, and just enjoying everything.
Sounds like a silly fun time. Just
It's wonderful, and at Gulf Wars, like there's a ravine between us and another kingdom, their encampment, and they play drums, and for like a week after I get back from Gulf Wars, I can't fall asleep because I have to have the drums playing in the background.
That's cool. Do you have like drum offs?
We have drum circles,
Oh my gosh.
and belly dancing and all sorts of stuff. So
That's
like
so cool.
this. Okay, so I've been to Renaissance fairs and they're cool.
nerd.
Such a loser, James. What the
Okay,
fuck?
actually, it's only one. So what I said fairs plural, but it's actually only one. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. But I've also actually been LARPing several times, and it was more of a. It was based on a. It was an honor-based system, so it wasn't like you
Yeah.
hit your arm and your arm's gone, because that's not how it was more realistic. So like if someone hits you in the arm with a sword, it's not chopped off. You can still use it maybe. So it was like 3 hits anywhere and you're considered dead. So it was more like an honor system. You have to admit that you got hit and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, we kind of ran off of a chivalrous code too on the field, but our swords are made out of rattan, which is pressed bamboo, and we cover it in duct tape so it doesn't explode all over you.
Right.
But
That's
when
a
you
good thing.
right, and when you get hit, you do lose that limb from fighting. So you do have to tuck it back, and it's a hard hit. Like I've seen some bruises on people.
So this is like, this ain't no pansy shit where you're just
No.
like, tap. No, you're just like, fuck you, butt.
Make sure your arm's broken.
Well, we do fighter practices at local groups. So, you kind of make sure you don't hit too hard because you don't want to break your friend either. But you want them to be able to feel it.
Well, you don't want to break your friend, but you definitely want to break your enemy, right?
Well,
Depending on what role you're playing.
the SCA has no real enemies. They're all your friends. We just get to beat up on our friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except for that East and Mid thing. They were
Ugh.
went to war.
So do y'all have y'all's version, I don't know why I just thought of this, but version of police roaming around, constables, if you will?
We police ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
How cool would that be if, like, actual cops would come to
Well,
these
we
and dress up?
do have cops that play.
Well, I mean, but they would, like,
Yeah.
still be on duty.
I don't think a police officer is ever really off duty.
That's probably
Because I've got a friend I've got a friend that he's a police officer in Mississippi, or he was, and when he went to an event and he saw somebody breaking the law, he'd be like, hey, I am a cop, I need to call myself on you.
She gets out like a homemade badge, just like medieval type material. Like, look, right there.
What's Los Angeles? Just don't worry about it.
Shut up.
I thought you were legitimately asking what that group was called. I was like, oh.
I've never heard of this city. It's supposedly a big city, Los Angeles.
Have y'all ever noticed that Los Angeles, it's the Los Angeles Angels, so it's the Angel?
Yeah. It's, people aren't smart. It's the same thing with ATM machine. You're saying automated teller machine. And PIN number, personal identification number. Just people get used to saying the acronym.
Words are hard.
So. Words are hard.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
English language. Okay, so, before I get to this last question here, you kind of hinted at it, and I guess we haven't really touched on it, but you kind of had mentioned that it's not just because I'm sure when people are still thinking about this, they're thinking mostly European medieval, but you say that there's more to it. Like
There's
some people
more.
do like Japanese or Asian medieval times, and like maybe like Arabic or even like.
If it's well documented, we have Middle Eastern personas, we've got Asian personas, European personas.
Documented as in that book they read.
That one book,
That one
right?
book.
I believe that a couple of people have actually, because we've been finding more evidence of like how people lived, because that's what they really want, is just to see, if you can document how well this person lived. But we're looking into like African. I've seen some people do Greek. We don't really do Native American because there's no like written historical value to that.
Right.
And by medieval, we really mean like 980 to like 1650.
So that's a pretty big swell at the time.
So like Charlemagne to Queen Elizabeth I.
Okay.
And everything in between.
That's
So
pretty cool.
you have a big,
I like that.
big time spot to play with. If you
Oh, yeah.
need to. Okay.
Options.
So many options.
So many options.
So I'm guessing with so many people probably not knowing anything about this, how exactly would they go and find a group or find more information or?
So the main website is called www.sca.org because we are an organization, as I mentioned.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Down below there.
You can go to find your local group, and they're separated by kingdom, and each kingdom lists the states that it includes.
Right.
And every kingdom has its own website, so you can click from there on the kingdom website and
Add to the cart. Check out.
go check it out. And then a lot of the kingdoms have like Facebook pages, so you can go, request to be added to that group. Usually we're like, hey, as long as you're not, a spam bot, cool. And then you can post on there and be like, hey, I'm from this area, where do I need to go? And if you're on the wrong Facebook page, we'll be like, hey, actually you need to go to this one, and we'll link you to it.
How often do you get Fayetteville people?
Can I join? No! Go to Missouri.
It's pretty clearly listed on there that the Fayetteville area is for the Callantyr Kingdom, which is Missouri. So
It's weird. It's like a little island of a different kingdom, like right there.
exactly,
So
they're cut off from everyone because of those arcs.
You gotta join that KCMO. Okay, so then, is there like a formal application of deal like that, or it's pretty much just like, hey, give us a name and a number and email and you're good to go type deal?
You can register like a persona if you want to.
Right.
But usually we suggest, come to a couple of events. You can go to fire practices to kind of meet people in that local group, which is a really good way to meet people and like get some one-on-one time with them, make some friends. Everyone likes friends.
Oh yeah.
Up that friend list.
And they can kind of help you out, like get you ready for your first event. Like we talked about food, so you want your own like plate and fork and knife and cup and all that stuff, and clothes, and just like we want you to be ready when you get there, so you don't feel
so I guess
like a sore thumb.
Something we haven't touched on is like, what is actually provided to you whenever you get there? Is it pretty much just like you're pretty much on your own? You bring everything you need. Like we're just gonna provide porta potties.
A lot of us bring extra stuff, so we may not have like an extra tent for you, but like if you're doing a tour, or if you want to stay for the day, we'll usually have like an extra set of clothes. Someone will have an extra set of like tableware. We want to make sure that you are comfortable and having a good time, because Southern hospitality,
Yeah.
So
you actually brought up a good point, Reggie. What is...
I usually do.
Well, what is the pooping situation?
There's big holes by trees. And just...
No.
Cover it with a wet rag. Just over
That's where our camping becomes more glamping.
Oh.
Yeah.
At some points, you need to have more amenities.
We call them flushies, but they're regular toilets.
Flushies.
Because you can flush the toilet, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the porta potties, and you kind of learn when to use the porta potties.
Yeah.
And what to dress if you need to go to the porta potty. So
don't
you don't want to wear
naked,
long flowing dresses, and
entirely naked.
You don't want to wear like a full Tudor velvet dress and go into the porta potty. You
don't get poop on it.
Yeah. you want to kind of wear like some just play around clothes. Like, oh, I don't care if I get someone else's pee on this.
It's literally something you gotta think of when you're getting dressed. Like, do I want to get someone else's pee on this?
But a lot of them, the porta potties are like more towards like the party areas, so you can quickly get in and out, whereas the toilets are more towards like the sleeping areas, so
for a more comfortable sitting experience.
Yes
of course. And so I'm guessing these events happen pretty much all year round.
All year round.
Okay.
And on each Kingdom website they list their events that they're having, and there's a flyer that'll tell you like the address or what group's putting it on, and you can find more local groups on your Kingdom website too.
Right.
So like this area, do you care if I say?
No.
Okay, so the Conway area is...
Yeah, no, we've pretty much said that we're from Little Rock and from Arkansas a million times, so... So
the Conway area would be the Shire of Lagerdom.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Shire of Lagerdom. It feels good to say.
Yeah.
Lagerdom.
And the Little Rock area...
I would just say the Shire, just because hobbies.
Well, there's a lot of Shires.
Where are you from? The Shire. Which one? The Shire.
That one Shire. And then the Little Rock area, they've got more participating members that are more constant, because, it's the college area.
Oh, people are in and out all the time.
Right,
for sure.
right. And you've got your core group that really keeps things going, but the Little Rock area has more steady membership, and it's a barony. It's the barony of Small Gray Bear, which I believe,
It's the barony, Barony, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Of Small Gray Bear,
It's a
Bear.
mouthful.
Yeah.
The barony of bear.
Bear
Barony.
Barony.
Care Bears.
Fold up the bear of barony.
The simple baronies.
Anyway.
I don't even remember what we're talking about. Oh my god.
So I guess then my question, something I wanted to ask is, you've kind of mentioned personas a little bit.
Yep.
So what is that process, I guess, like, and how? What's the minimum, maximum, like, amount of detail, I guess, people have
as much detail as you want.
The
They
more the
really,
merrier.
right?
Yeah.
They really want for your name, like your first and last name, if you have a first and last name, to kind of be used within the same, like, 50 to 100 years of each other. But if it's a name that's, like, popular for a long time, you're safe, you know?
Right.
And we have what are called heralds, which are people that help you do the research for your persona if you need to reach out to somebody.
Cool.
So you can reach out.
So you're never like really alone in anything here.
No,
like, you always
we're a
have
big
help.
family. Like my family,
Okay.
I joke is like 300,000 people. I'm a big family.
I mean, it would make sense for this kind of community to be very open, but also very close knit, because you know it's from the outside it's going to be a weird thing, and they don't want people to judge them too hard. So you know the best way to make sure that
We're just a
people come
group
out-
of nerds that
Right.
love each other.
People
right.
that come in from the outside, the best way to make them feel comfortable is to make them feel accepted. And maybe like, hey, no,
Exactly.
it's all cool here. Like, just
Right.
do what you want, you know?
You wore leopard print, and that's not really medieval. Like, whatever, dude. Just, we'll try to help you
Figure
get
it
some
out,
pants
you know?
that actually fit, you know? But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Wear
I
that
just-
now. We don't care.
I just think it's really cool. Like the thought process I'm having right now is like, as a normal person, I can plan a road trip to Ohio, but someone who's in what you do plans a road trip to a different kingdom. I just think it's really cool. Like you can do, when you're in it, you can do both. I'm going to
So,
Ohio.
like-
No, I'm going to this other kingdom.
So, like, no joke. Sometimes people that do this go on vacation, and they want to, like, take their armor with them if they fight. And so they try to
Just
find
in
out,
case.
like, when the local fighter practice is, and then they
Just
go and
show
fight
up.
with them, right?
That's
They're like, hey, I'm going to be down in New Orleans this weekend. Who wants to fight?
Come fuck with me.
What?
You're all ugly. Come fight me.
We're all friends. We don't call each other ugly to their face.
Their fa-
Always talk shit with
I'm
your
kidding.
friends, not with all your friends.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's way more than what I thought it was, and it's definitely way more, way cool, because, like,
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm way cool, so.
makes sense. Makes sense.
So much sense.
Well, before, like, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and it's very current news about Chester, lead singer Linkin Park, passing away,
Yeah.
or committing suicide. It's an ugly word, but it definitely happens. It's depression is a really bad thing. I thought we should talk about that since
Yeah,
here.
so, I mean, more about Chester or more about the depression thing?
Yes.
Oh,
All
well,
of it, actually, really.
My thoughts on Chester Bennington are, like, I grew up with Linkin Park being like a big pivotal band. They hit their stride whenever I
threw
was
you
really
into that,
impressed.
like, emo punk
Yeah,
phase.
they were, when I was most impressionable with music, that's like one of the bands that, was around it.
Oh, yeah.
But over time, I've kind of like grown out of them, and I really didn't listen to them too much anymore.
That's how I am,
But-
too. Yeah.
But yeah, it's still very weird and
Surreal.
Yeah, surreal to like have someone from a band, at least that you feel is so young and that you're so familiar with, to just like be gone. Like, with Chris Cornell, whenever he passed, I mean, he was, I don't know how old he was. I think he was in his 40s or 50s. But
I want to say it's early 50s.
yeah, but I mean, but he's been around for a long time, and I never really got into Soundgarden or Audioslave all that much, so
Right.
it was just like, that's sad that happened to him, that he took his own life. But with Chester, it's just like whoa.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned Chris Cornell. If you didn't know, Chris was a very close friend to Chester, and a lot of people are talking about how that must have had a big influence on what happened.
Yeah, because he
Definitely.
killed himself on Chris
Chris's
Cornell's
birthday.
50th. Yeah, because he was 52 when he died, so his
Yeah.
53rd birthday. And they even said that he died like almost the exact same way.
Yeah,
as
I
Chris
think they
Cornell.
both hung themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, if I may speak freely, I did.
Your speech is free.
At ease.
Thank goodness. I did grow up with depression, and it's something that I think is very demonized, especially in society today.
Yeah.
Because
I
if
kinda
you
understand where you're
have
coming
depression, like people think that you're really weird. You know?
they see it as like a choice, kind of like
Or
you're
you're
just
weak.
choosing
It's
to
your
be
fault.
yeah,
Right.
or-
And it's literally like a chemical imbalance in your brain that you
it's
can't
really-
help.
Yeah, no.
Right.
It is a mental disease, and it is something that if it's bad enough, you have to get
And
treated for it.
that's
you
the
know?
key word, disease. It is a disease.
Yeah.
It's just like if you had cancer. It's something you really can't help.
Right. No one chooses to be depressed.
Right.
It just happens.
It's a horrible thing.
And just, don't think that, that's kind of the stigma thing you were talking about. It's kind of annoying because, some people, they can just have depression because their genetics just deem that their brain is always going to kind of be chemically imbalanced that way.
Right.
But then there everyday other people can get depression too because you go through a lot of shit, and then once your brain starts kind of switching into mode, it can be difficult
neurons
to switch
in your
out.
brain can die and switch out and create new channeling in your brain that can cut off access to chemicals that would keep you, like the serotonin and dopamine.
Basically, it creates a chemical imbalance as you...
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
and you can get that from stressful events, like as you would get PTSD.
Right, yeah.
The same way.
My grandmother doesn't believe in mental disease at all, and so it's always real. I have battled depression on and off throughout my life, and so when I was living with her, of course I never got help for it. I just kind of had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I did really well when I was much younger. It's a lot easier when you're younger, but
because you don't have as much stress. But then as you become a teenager and a young adult,
it's
got
so much
your
harder.
hormones are arranging.
This thing happens that makes you really depressed. You're like, I gotta pay bills too, and this a student loan.
I mean, it almost derailed my life last year. It's
when
pretty
you're a
rough.
kid, you're like, this thing happens, and I play with dinosaurs.
Right.
So I mean, it's not that when you get over it kind of quick.
But then as a kid, it's
my
very
friends
easy to find
don't want to play
escapes.
with me, right? My friends don't want to play with me. I'll go play hide and seek with myself.
Now, don't get me. I'm not trying to say that childhood depression is not as serious as adult depression.
No,
I'm
yeah.
I'm just saying kids have a different frame of mind and deal with it differently than adults do.
Well, and I think that has to do with the maturity as you age.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yeah, you become a little more self-aware of it. I definitely think being aware of your own depression sometimes can make it worse. Because you kind of start digging your own hole, but
right. But I think it's also very important to recognize when you have depression, because then you can see, I need to fix this.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, in all seriousness, if you have depressive thoughts, if you have suicidal thoughts, there are many resources out there. Reach out and talk to somebody. There are many suicide prevention hotlines, and there, even if you don't want to talk to someone physically, I mean, I'm sure you can go online and find support groups online and chat groups and stuff like that.
Or if you don't feel like there's somebody close enough to you that you can open up like that to, or if you feel like you'd be a burden on that person in your life. And
of course, I know a lot of people don't have access to it, but if you do, I highly encourage a therapist, because that is the best unbiased neutral source you can talk to,
and they can actually give you helpful advice to live with it,
because not only are they going to help you get through it, but they're also going to try to give you little life tips and hints and habits to form, so that way you can kind of help correct yourself as you go through life as well.
And there are even several subreddits that are dedicated just to helping you through hard times.
We don't talk about Reddit.
We talk about Reddit. Reddit can be a really shitty place, but I've also seen a whole lot of really cool things happen there, and a lot of helpful things. So
it's a weird community.
Yeah, it is.
It can be very supportive at times.
It's a roller coaster of maturity through there.
It's definitely a landmine. I mean, you gotta watch where you step.
Someone the other day mentioned, I think it was the day Chester passed, is someone mentioned that it's kind of weird hitting the age when all of the famous people you looked up to start dying. Chester didn't hit me that way, because like you, I kind of fell away from it. I kind of quit listening after Minutes to Midnight, because it was a different sound. It was not what I was used to from Linkin Park. Now I commend them for keeping up with the times and changing their sound to reflect growing. But it just wasn't for me. I love that they dedicated themselves to that, but it wasn't my sound.
Well, and my roommate and I were talking, because we listened to the last album, because we're like, Linkin Park came out with a new album, oh my god. We were listening to it, and as I kind of thought about it over the last day or so, I kind of was thinking about his lyrics, and I was like, wow, I feel like every song that he's had was a big cry for help, and especially this last album. My roommate and I, when we first heard it, before all the stuff with Chris and Chester and all that, we were like, man, Chester, who hurt you? Who hurt you, man? Like, please find some help. And
I mean, I know he talked a lot about like how he was abused as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So by an older male, I think. Is what they said.
It's weird how people don't tend to take those kind of things seriously because it's hidden behind the veil of art. Like, this is his art, so I mean, for some reason.
But so it's like Robin Williams' comedy.
Well,
was his
yeah. So
art.
I think what it is that because I mean mental health support here in the United States is so bad anyway,
It's
and
terrible.
it's so demonized that people don't try to seek the like conventional what you should be doing. So instead, like with people like Robin Williams or Chester, they basically funnel all of their feelings into their art,
Right.
And so they get that. At first, I think that works really well for them. It's really a great outlet to help them cope.
Right.
But as time goes on, I think that's whenever it starts getting a lot harder because it kind of becomes less of a
It becomes
funnel
more of a
and
job than a
necessity.
career.
Right.
Right. And you don't, I mean, everybody has a job to go to, but if it's a career, you enjoy it. You want to go there and do that every day. But I was having an argument with somebody on Facebook, of all places, you know. Surprise, surprise.
Best place to have conversations.
Right. And it's kind of funny that you mentioned that your grandma didn't believe in mental disease because science is ever changing, especially mental science, mental health science.
I mean, it's still relatively young.
It is, because we can, like now, we can kind of see what happens, the side effects and the signs of certain diseases, and they're always renaming them, you know, like ADD is no longer a thing.
I was diagnosed with ADD
I don't remember
as a child.
what the book is called, but it's basically like the behavior book that psychologists use to help diagnose different mental diseases.
Right.
You know, when that started, it had maybe like 10 in there, and now there's thousands in there, you know.
And it's constantly changing, and to think that, you know, if you got a degree in psychology like 40 years ago and you haven't done any continued education on that since, I don't feel like you are up to date and understanding on what's going on now, and you've invalidated your argument because you understand mental health 40 years ago when, like you said, there was like 10, 20 things in the book, and versus now where there's so many diseases. And I really commend doctors that go through this, like psychologists and what's the other one? Psychiatrist. Thank you. My brain kind of died there for a second. I really commend them because they have to memorize all this stuff for like tests, and it really, I mean, it's becoming a bigger field now because we're learning to kind of subcategorize things and call them different things. Yeah. Because they're treated differently. I mean, I only think it's a matter of time. This was another discussion that I was having before. PTSD from like a stressful event like war versus PTSD from like being in an abusive relationship are going to be called two different things.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because like I said, it's an ever-changing thing of science itself, physics, stuff like that. It's ever-changing.
Right. So, I think just to sum it all up, like, it sucks to see that happen to people, and that depression can take those people from us. But again, I just want to reiterate that if you're struggling with those kinds of things, reach out to somebody, anybody, because you know suicide may seem enticing, but it is not worth it. You know, things can seem bad now, but they can get a lot better.
Always go through the other steps, like try to find somebody to talk to if it's a close friend or a family member, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, try to seek out therapists. I think there are some therapy clinics that are actually very low cost or free, and you can go talk to somebody there. I'm not an expert on this subject, but I just know my own experience, and talking to somebody did help. Being on medication for a while did help while I did develop those healthy coping mechanisms for my everyday life. So
anyone, if you talk to them, can be the stepping stone to a better life. Basically, to help you with what you're dealing with. Almost anyone will sit and listen if you give them the chance. So don't be afraid to take that first step.
Well, I think it's been about an hour now, and sorry to end on a little bit of a downer of a note, but it's a good thing. I mean, it happened, so it's good to talk about.
It's important.
But
it is.
I hope you've enjoyed most of it, and learned a lot about the SCA and everything. And of course, we gave you all the resources. We'll have all the links to everything we've talked about in the show notes, so you can find everything you need to know. I would just like to thank Elizabeth for coming on.
And
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been really great. It's been really informative, and way cooler than I thought it was gonna be.
Yep.
So
just I don't know, put it out there. If anybody wanted to know more about it, any specific subject, or had questions, I'd be happy to come back and answer them.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm just kind of interested.
We were ending it, James.
I'm not too much longer.
it's supposed to be done.
For people that are in this, and even people listening that are just kind of curious, find out what kingdom you're at and tweet it at us. I want to see, I want to know about all the kingdoms.
Right.
We're at Nerdify Podcast on Twitter.
Show them the family love, y'all.
Yeah. I want to know what all the kingdoms are. I want to see what it's all about.
Yeah, Elizabeth's friends, y'all better be tweeting at us, because if not, we're gonna.
All of y'all.
We will
All five
find
of
out
you.
your information from her, and we will hunt you down. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this week, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Bye
This has been Reggie
And James.
And Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.